I am aiming to do about 2 videos a month, hopefully.
Bathroom's like a war crime.
Don't blame me, it's those new low-flow toilets. With the old ones, you could flush a dachshund puppy. I mean, not that you would.
Oh shit. Well, hi! If you can believe it, I've been having a really hard time coming up with what I want to talk about, and there's also been so much shit going on, I don't know how big YouTubers do this. But anyways, a few days ago, at the time of recording this, I heard of a new law passed in China that would limit minors to playing games for just an hour, on Fridays, weekends, and holidays. And pals, that just broke my heart. On one hand, the game pictured as Clash of Clans, so by all means restrict that shit. And I know that if I was in China at the Olive Garden and some family came in and shoved the iPad in front of their shit-ass kid on a weeknight and he was playing Where's My Water on full volume, I'd be sitting there with a timer like, yes, hello police? It's been an hour. But damn it, man, I've been seeing this problem more and more where when people talk about video games, they're talking about first-person shooters, gambly things, and other understandably harmful and super popular games. But they completely gloss over a precious and crucial genre. And as you can probably guess from the title, that genre is hentai booby games.
God, yeah, the triple DSLUT, those are big.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much does that weigh?
Goddamn, we need to ban this shit too. But the games that I feel really do suffer from being referred to just as video games are sandbox games. Now, I've already written out about 5 pages talking about my personal relationship to sandbox games, and I was gonna make it into a video a few weeks ago, but it was really just way the hell too oversharey. So I do want to still try to get my major points across without being too personal, too negative, and without putting myself down too much. I was a fucking loser growing up. To set the tone, on my first day of kindergarten, this kid came up to me standing by myself and said, "That's a cool shirt. What's your name?" And I ran away, hid behind a tree, and tried not to cry. So just know that from K through 12, life was pretty rough. It didn't help that I was very sheltered, and my mom was wary about bringing things into our household that could have negative influences. So I didn't get to play Halo, or COD, or GTA, or even any of the old Nintendo games, except for Melee, God bless, because they were all video games. Bad, ew, nasty, tainted. We were allowed to play some special video games like things from fucking Jumpstart and even a select few games from DisneyChannel.com. I did ask my parents' permission first though. But I never really pushed to get a game until the one good friend I had in 2nd grade, Chad, who was not from Chad but was actually from Jordan, showed me SimCity 4. And this is where shit got real. When I got home after watching Chad play SimCity, it's not like I was asking my mom, "Can I please get Modern Warfare so that I can kill my friends?" I was telling her things like, our city is all low-density construction and most of the land is zoned for residential use. This has caused a massive sprawl of single-family homes connected by nothing but low-density streets. I think the city planners should have zoned some high-rises or worked together to offer decent public transportation to cut down on the insane amount of cars here. And my mom, of course, was just like, wow, the 2nd grade curriculum is fucking nutty nowadays. But once I told her more about this city building game that I had learned all of this stuff from, she got it for me for Christmas. Because she knew that I was gaining something from it. I could make long-term goals, plan cities, balance budgets, all while I was being creative and having a blast. It was awesome. I also got Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 after that, which was amazing, but inside that copy of SimCity 4 Deluxe Edition, there was an additional disc. It was a demo for the Spore creature creator. I gave it a whirl and nothing was the same. I made so many fucking aliens, it was like all of my daydreams were flying out of my hands and into my computer screen. I was molding and shaping and designing anything I could think of, and I excitedly went to show my parents, who promptly took the game away. Because my mom looked into it and found out that Spore taught kids about evolution, which was a big no-no on God's green 4,000-year-old Earth. So yeah, I was not bullshitting when I said I was sheltered. However, my mom did die of cancer the year that Spore was officially released, and even though I may not have liked her rules, it was still obviously devastating. And as a pick-me-up, my dad got me the full version of Spore. So right now, when I say that Spore is my favorite game of all time, it's not for the gameplay or even the expansion packs. This game means so fucking much to me. And it's the perfect example to explain why I think people can benefit from playing sandbox games and why it crushes me to hear that some kids may be cut off from them just because they're video games. The main thing that sandbox games offer a young, troubled mind is a sense of control. Growing up just feels like pure chaos where you don't really have any power to change your circumstances. For instance, if you come from a very religious family and you're told to let Jesus take the wheel, just to have him pull up on your mom like kind of makes you feel all types of ways. But in Spore, I did have control. I could tune everything out and make a place for myself. I could make aliens and give them stories and names and histories, and I could make entire worlds for them and then share that with other people. There would be nights where I just couldn't sleep because of all the shit going on in my head, and I would sneak across the house to the computer and just make things until I fell asleep at the desk. That game that everyone shits on, that everyone says was so disappointing, was my lifeline for a good couple years. I actually made a routine where I would share a creation in the morning so that I would be able to come home to comments from my friends or whoever else saw it. And dude, I can't emphasize enough how valuable that was. I like to make things. I think I'm decently artistic and I've always been that way. But for those of you that didn't have to deal with being bullied, there's a really shitty side effect that comes along when people just don't lay off you. If people pick on you all the time, you can kind of assume this role as just a punching bag. There would be times at school where I would just be minding my fucking business drawing and people would, reach over your shoulder, call it shit, make fun of you just for trying to do something, and that really sucks. I hope that's changed nowadays with social media allowing more soft-spoken people to vent their frustrations so that people are aware of how shitty their behavior is, but I don't know. Here's hoping. But in Spore, nobody knew me. Nobody had a reason to talk shit on me, and so that's where I could go to feel like I was good at something. I remember when I first got featured in Spore, which is where your creation is chosen by Maxis and placed on everyone's homepage and forced downloaded into their game. I came home to hundreds of comments, most of them on the mech suit that was featured, but some on my other creations too. I got hundreds of subscribers and made so many new friends. It was the best day of my little life. So yes, Spore let me be creative and make my own world, but man, it was so valuable as one of the only places I could go to as a kid where people were nice to me. And that's what's so great about Sandbox Games. You share something in Spore and nobody's gonna go out of their way to call it shit or be mean. And if they do, honestly, they're not worth listening to. There is a certain breed of player though that I see very often in Minecraft. If you build something and put a little effort into it and establish yourself as an above average builder on a server, holy fuck, dude. You'll get other people who are interested in building perusing your base just like, I think this wall is a little flat. Consider adding more depth or a textural element. It's just like, shut the fuck up, man. If I was looking for critique, I would ask for it. Just let people have fun. But for the most part, sandbox communities are nothing but supportive in kind. But on the topic of creating cool things, looking at sandbox games as an art form is something I wish could be taken a little more seriously. I'm not talking about a dirt hut exhibit in the Louvre, but these games offer so much potential and utility for people who want to bring their ideas to life. People like Jiracraft who use mods and shit to make insane projects in Minecraft, or someone like Silverette who meticulously recreates specific architectural styles, but bends them to fit his style in Planet Coaster. We all know that 3D art is a real thing. I mean, shit, people just won Artist of the Year from GQ for his 3D art. He sold an NFT for $69 million, what the hell? And it's a very common workflow nowadays for people to make a 3D model, then bring it into Photoshop to clean it up and make it look more like a typical painting. So if we're in agreement here that Blender and Maya renders are art, then there's no way in hell that you can convince me that Planet Coaster or Minecraft builds shouldn't be looked at as works of art in some capacity. The only difference is that you don't have to run the donut gauntlet and learn how to modify your icing or UV unwrap your anvils. And I mean, in some cases, things may be easier in Blender for those who are proficient with all the hotkeys and doodly dads. But for the layman like me, it's super cool to be able to make what I want using simple pieces in-game. And like I said, I feel like I'm a fairly artistic chap, right? And so with that, I feel like there's a tank of creative juice in me noggin, and I can use that juice to draw or paint or sculpt or do whatever. And after something strenuous like work or school or pooping, I'm not in the mood to bust out the palette, get my paints out, mix them, clean my brushes, do all this other shit. So I love sandbox games for the fact that I can spill my juices all over a project using a limited palette and a limited number of techniques, right? It's not too overwhelming, it's easy. And after you've created something cool in whatever game you're working in, the best part is that you can share it afterwards. And to preface this, if you're gonna make art, I don't mean that you're supposed to be making things to please people. You should definitely be making what you feel led to make. Chasing validation from other people's approval is just not a good road to go down. But the point of making anything is to share it with people so that it might serve to inspire someone. Unless it's a hentai booby game, you keep that shit on your own hard drive. But when you're all playing the same game, using the same medium and mostly the same techniques, it helps everyone understand how you did something, which lets them appreciate and respect it more easily. When you're not all working the exact same way to make something, you're mainly critiquing the finished projects because you often don't know or can't relate to their process, you know, if you're in like a real life art class. And that's why finding new ideas in Minecraft, for example, is fun. When some clever person shows you a new way to use the pieces that you've always had, or when someone pushes the limit and makes something super unique in something like Planet Coaster. Sharing things in these games is what prevents them from going stale, and it's why you can get thousands of hours of playtime out of them. Because while you may have built everything that you can think of, other people can show you entirely new ways to think. And it's so important for people to have experience sharing their work like this. I don't know if many of you have taken art classes, but at the college level at least, your professors will literally start pushing people to make an art Instagram or an art station or the fucking furry one. And that can be really scary for people. Because you're stacking your amateur art that you are passionate about up against fucking industry professionals. So if you can get used to saying, hey guys, I made this and I'm proud of it, here you go. Or I made this and I want to improve, it'll be beneficial for you. We tend to hold things that we make or our ideas that we're not super confident in very close to the chest because we're either afraid of judgment or failure. So gaining some courage and experience pushing your ideas out there and opening yourself up, I think, can help a lot of people. It's an awesome collaborative cycle that I think is pretty unique to Sandbox games. In other games, I share my ideas with people by kicking their ass with them, which isn't the same kind of fuzzy feeling. And here's the thing, I've been on both sides of the gaming spectrum. If I have a massive chunk of free time, I'll be excited to get work done in whatever Sandbox game I'm into at the moment, but then I'll get the urge to shit on some kids. In a video game. With bullets. And I've seen this pretty often where people will say playing competitive games makes you learn how to work in a team setting, focus on your weaknesses, and develop leadership qualities. But man, really? If working as a team means learning how to run my Octane's banner back to a respawn beacon before he disconnects, then fine. I guess that's a skill? And you can try to be a leader, but I'm telling you right now, nobody, myself included, wants to be led while we're trying to have a bit of fun. And as for focusing on your weaknesses, holy shit, dude. It's not even funny. I got into League for a while. And all you'll ever hear in that game specifically is you need to keep your pressure on your lane opponent. You need to also be warding. You need to get CS. You need to do this, that, and a million other things to stay on top and win. And that's how you be the best. And if you fuck up one of them, you're going to lose. And so every time that I would fuck up at all, I would immediately tilt and just lose my mind. It wasn't healthy. And I don't want to admit this, but I played that shit in competitive for years, and I never made it out of silver. The amount of anger, stress, disappointment that comes from getting invested in a competitive game is just disgusting. If I ever feel myself getting mad in a game nowadays, I'll immediately turn it off. Because why am I playing something that makes me miserable? Hey, that's different. My point is that Sandbox games aren't as exciting as something competitive. There's not constant stimulus and pressure, but that's okay. People need a break from it. And that's why it makes me so sad when people look at Sandbox games and just write them off because they're video games. I mean, yeah, for sure, you could probably be using your time better, but isn't building, designing, and creating something better than just watching a show or fighting people? It's just so much more fun to be able to make something in a game. Any game where you at least have customization options just feels so much better because you get to express yourself in some way that makes the experience so much more interactive and unique to you. I can't imagine a AAA title releasing today without the option to, I don't know, repaint your car. That would be insane. I mean shit, even in Skyrim I'll be in dungeons shopping for decor like it's a Home Goods with 30% more decapitations. Although I posted this clip to Reddit a few days ago, and I guess Skyrim is the Dark Souls of decorating because the comments are full of people's rage quit stories, but I just power through the bullshit so I can sit and pretend to be cozy. And know that my breeze home is better than yours. I guess my main overarching point is that Sandbox games offer real, tangible benefits to players that other games can't. If you've seen the Post Malone Hot Ones episode, he says that Guitar Hero sparked his love for music, and that if you can gain a love for something and then transfer that passion to the real world, then rock on. So I hope that as time wears on, we can realize that allowing kids to play SimCity might spark a career in civil engineering. Or maybe making goofy aliens could inspire a career as a 3D artist or animator. But most importantly, people should be encouraged to share what they have to offer. Because what may seem mundane and not that good to you may be amazing to someone else. I love Sandbox Games, and I know that all of my points were anecdotal and a little rambly, but I hope that I got my point across. And I hope that by creating this video and sharing it with you, it could inspire you to make something of your own. So thank you for listening to my Sandbox stories. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end if you did, and if that's the case, don't forget to like and subscribe as per usual. I've got more ideas in the works, and I think I've got a better handle on everything going on with changes in school and work and all that shit, so I should be able to get them out much quicker, not 4 months again, hopefully. But yeah, I will see you in the next one, and thank you for watching.